Hello, once again. I'm your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Horror News Radio, the official Gruesome Magazine podcast. Back with me again this week are the scariest, goriest, the bloodiest co-host on the net, and tonight we're reviewing Jurassic World Dominion. If we can't have monsters, we'll go with dinosaurs. Yes, yes, yes! Joining me tonight is my co-host, the one and only Dreher.
Hey, Doc, I ain't seen you in a while. You got like a full Santa beard thing going on.
Look
at that.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said you got like a full Santa beard thing going on there.
Ho, ho, ho.
I want to come over and sit on your lap, and not for the reason I normally want to.
I'm embarrassed at the moment.
He's doing it for his Peacemaker cosplay.
I don't know what to say. You're giving away all my secrets. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Moore. How you doing?
The podcast finds a way. That's all I got to say.
Self-replicating. All right. Also joining us.
That's my life. That's why I'm single.
What?
Huh? Moving along.
Joining us, we have a couple guest hosts tonight, and I'm happy to bring them along. From Heroes and Droids, we have Chris Slattery. He's called the Slattman. How you doing, sir?
Audience, hold on to your butts.
Nah.
This is going to be an interesting hour.
There you go. Hour. Holy crap. Might be.
Podcast faster.
You guys, you're killing me. You're killing me. Also, all the way over from Decades of Horror, all of the episodes, and comic book artist, the one and only Chad Hunt, the Chadasaurus. How you doing, sir?
Trapped in amber.
Trapped in amber.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Who is she?
No, I mean.
Okay, Johnny
Stay
Depp.
away from that strip club.
You may have to go to court for that.
Oh my God.
Just saying.
Oh.
Check your bed.
Oh man, that's a big pile of shit.
There might be a big pile of Jurassic poop in that.
Oh man, we're off the rails we go. Hi ho. Hi ho. All right, what we're going to do tonight. We did that already. All right, we're going to review Jurassic World Dominion. We're going to give it our. Why are we looking at Chad all this time? We don't want to look
Because
at
I'm beautiful.
We're going to give you our first impressions of the film. That will be spoiler free, by the way, and then we're going to give into a discussion about the film. We'll get into all the spoilers and all the. That we'll probably bring up some of the. Well, I mean, come on, the OG cast is back. Spoilers, if you didn't know. So there's plenty to talk about there, and then of course we'll wrap. What was that? Sound like a dinosaur fart in the background. We'll wrap things up with our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. And of course, we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you enjoy this review, we hope you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and share with a friend. All easy and free to do. And of course, we'd love to hear your comments down below. All right, let's look at the card, shall we? That's not it. Let's look at this card. Jurassic World Dominion 2022 from Universal. Train wreck. Available in theaters on June 10th, 2022. Synopsis: 4 years after destruction of Isla Nublar, the dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on the planet they now share with history's most fearsome creatures in a new era. It's directed by Colin Trevorrow, returning from the first Jurassic World. Written by Colin, along with Derek Connolly and Emily Carmichael. Based, of course, on the characters created by Michael Crichton. The cast includes, and is not limited to, Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, DeWanda Wise, Mamoudou Athie. I'm sorry, sir. I'm pretty sure that's close. Isabel Sermon, Campbell Scott, B.D. Wong, Omar Sy, Justice Smith, and Daniela Pineda. Yes, it's the OG cast is back, and it's all kinds of fun. Let's get into our initial reactions, and I'm going to have some fun tonight too, and we're going to put Dave on the spot. Sir, what was your initial thoughts of Jurassic World Dominion?
Of course, been with this franchise since day one, right? They've never, at least for me, been able to recapture that that wonder of the first movie. I was hoping maybe with the OG cast being back, we'd get some of that. And I think maybe we did to a degree. But with that being said, although I really enjoyed this movie a lot, I had a lot of fun with it. The melding of the two worlds for me seemed a little forced, seemed a little, disjointed almost.
Convenient, even.
I mean, again, without giving away, I know we'll get into more spoilerly stuff before, but they had to find a way to bring these two franchises together, and they do it. I'm just not sure I was completely on board with why they did it, and I never did care for the whole storyline. And again, I get these confused. I think it was in the second Jurassic World with the little girl.
Nope.
Being some kind of a hybrid, thing, and they tie that loose end up, but I don't know. It all seemed just a little disjointed. But again, with that being said, I love the action. I love the dinosaurs. There's a lot of big, Indiana Jones-esque sequences to this, and I just really thought were fantastic. That I loved a lot. But overall, story-wise, I think the Jurassic Park world storyline kind of lost itself somewhere along the way, and they try to pull it back together here. I'm just not sure they quite do it for me. But I did enjoy it. I'll
go with that. All right, Slattman, you're up next, sir. What was your first impression of Jurassic World Dominion?
All right, so I should preface this by saying that the first Jurassic Park movie is probably my favorite movie of all time. It holds a very special place to my heart, and I can find I enjoy every movie in this series to a degree, even the ones that a lot of people hate. So with that being said, I really enjoyed my time with this. I thought it was a very fun movie. It was very kind of paint by numbers, like action adventure at times, but it's okay because, it was fun, and that's what really needed to happen. The story was kind of a mess at times, but that's okay because it was a joy to watch. But I will admit, it took a long time for me to care.
No.
Act 1, I felt like was some of the worst, some of the worst delivery of lines I've seen in a blockbuster in a long time, and some of the worst writing. Just Act 1 did not work for me, but everything after Act 1, and once we're in Act 2 and on, once we get to the place, or I guess the place before the place, if you've seen the movie, once we get to that spot, everything after that worked for me.
Okay. I like that. We can get down with that. Chadasaurus, sir. Your first impression.
First impression is I love this movie. And it could be nostalgia. It could be stuff like that, but I don't care. I had fun watching it. I took my son with me. He loves the Jurassic Park films. And I got more of an enjoyment watching him watch the movie.
Oh, nice, yeah, through his eyes.
And seeing his reaction to everything. He just loves dinosaurs. So, yeah, Jurassic Park movies aren't really there for their in-depth storylines. and I mean, you're just there to see dinosaurs fight and chase tiny humans, across the screen. That's what makes it fun for me. So yeah, there was a couple of them along the way that kind of, with the girl and her story from the last one, where the clone, that kind of lost me a little bit there too. But this one, I never bought the whole that stuff. If a dinosaur's going to eat you, it's going to eat you, and you can stick your hand in its face all day. You just draw back a nub. I'm assuming, but so yeah. Then that stuff's kind of dumb and kind of silly, but it doesn't diminish the overall joy of watching one of these films, and it's just crazy, silly fun. So
crazy, silly fun. Yeah, sure. Christopher G. Morse, your first impression of Jurassic World Dominion.
Well, if you go back and listen to our review for the last one,
You did not like that?
I did not like the last film. I thought the last film was stupidity upon stupidity. The clone girl I hated. There was just so many elements of it didn't work for me. Although I will say, this new film I did enjoy primarily because of the OG cast being back. They actually made me better understand the clone angle much better. It actually made that and made the second one much better. Not much better. It's still a big Jurassic piece of poop.
Jurassic poop.
Yeah, basically. And I don't know. And I think I even made a joke on when I was going to see this. It's like let's go see this film that'll just make me realize how much the first one was so much better than all these sequels. And it's still doesn't deliver on the level that the original Jurassic Park did. And I'm one of the few people that I like the second Jurassic Park a good bit too, because of the darkness. But yeah, I don't know. I think more than anything, it definitely made me appreciate the OG cast. Anytime Jeff Goldblum would open his mouth and say some snarky thing, I was laughing. It's like, is that a dinosaur on your back? Things like that.
You made a promise to a dinosaur.
Yeah, he's just got so many quotable lines. It's just so funny. And it does make those references. Some references are a little bit eye-rolly. Like, you get to that one place in the campus or whatever, and there's a big circular thing in front of a waterfall, and I'm like, yeah, I know what we're gonna do later on with that. And a T-Rex. Let's recreate the logo. But I think for the most part, I did enjoy it. I don't know. I unlike some of the stuff you guys said earlier, like you like the Indiana Jones stuff. I don't know. Jurassic Park's never really been like. I feel like they were making it more Mission Impossible at points, and then they incorporate elements they'd always like rumored to have incorporated, like the military, like creating military dinos, which they have a little bit of that. But yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I think it and I think the way it kind of wraps up the Jurassic World stuff and Jurassic Park in kind of one fell swoop. But at the same time, I even towards the end, the kind of the resolution between the OG cast that make me a little misty at it. It's like because I remember seeing the original and you could see that chemistry and stuff between the two main characters. But I don't know that I think I know we go to movies to sort of be brought out of it, and these things aren't going to happen in real life. But there's just logistic things that don't make sense, and I never understood. Bryce Dallas Howard was like an executive in the first film, and now she's like, this person like the grizzly guy, where she just go out in the middle of, I don't know. There's things like that I don't understand. I was like,
I guess 4 years will do that.
Yeah, it's like 1 minute she's wearing high heels and she's running from a T-Rex, and that minute she's wearing flannel. So I don't know. I don't feel like the arc of her character has made her to be this survivalist that. The kind of situation she gets put into. So there's all things like logistics that don't really make a lot of sense. And then we got this guy that looks like he's trying to be Tim Cook of Apple.
Yes, exactly.
The big villain, which I'm sure is on purpose.
No kidding.
So yeah, I don't know. It's for me, it just. The whole film, I kept like, I don't really care about Chris Pratt. Let's go to the original cast again. And then when we go to the original cast, like, yay. And then you go back to Chris Pratt. Oh, yay. Yay. But overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it much better than what I thought because, again, I went into this thinking, and the saving grace is the OG cast, but the plot's a little all over the place. I did like the incorporation of the pilot character who had a good amount of humor and just her character. But overall, I think it's enjoyable. You definitely have to like leave your brain at the door when you go into the theater because there's a lot of logistic stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of story stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I just liked it better when it was much simpler in the original Jurassic Park and how things logistically kind of played out the way it needed to. And this one, they're just all over the place. It just felt like a Mission Impossible movie with dinosaurs at some points. Like we need to go, or James Bond, like No Time to Die, except for when dinosaurs go stink or something. But I don't know. I'll stop talking.
When dinosaurs stink.
Extinct.
Oh, okay, stink. All right. So I love all the Jurassic films. I think I'm in Slattman's camp here. I've been enjoying them. I don't think they'll ever top the first Jurassic Park. I think just because of the incredible wonder of it all, it was what they achieved, and seeing that on the screen is amazing. It's hard to recapture that, at least in this particular element. Somebody will do it eventually, but and they go for it. There's a couple scenes that are kind of obvious where they're trying to, and they halfway work, but regardless of all that, I had a ball. I love this, and I enjoyed the last movie, Christopher. You probably remember I was like, no, come on, it was good, and I was beaten up quite a bit during that review, and watching it over again, my it's dwindled, but at the same time, I don't know, this one. I'd gotten caught up in, some of the negative reviews and stuff, or at least through the press. The cinema score has been pretty high, actually. But I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to, I gotta do this. I want to do it, but I gotta do it, right? And I just had a great time. I didn't have any problem with some of the stuff was preposterous, but I thought it was pretty straight and narrow. It's like, okay, everybody's going to this one place for two different reasons. And once you get them together, it adds up, right? Because the one needs the other to solve it. And so I thought that was kind of brilliant. I like Dotson was back, and that was kind of interesting. That character, that was basically a very throwaway character from the original, but even the Barbasol can showed up.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, we got Dotson here. Nobody cares. But I had a good time. I liked. It was just really great to see the OG cast, and it was great to see the cast interact together as well. And like you said, Jeff Goldblum gets the best lines, because obvious. Right, because he's Jeff Goldblum. But we also get some new characters, and I thought the pilot was great. I thought the pilot was integrated really well.
Yeah,
I didn't feel like that she was forced into it. There was a reason for her to be there. While the other characters interact with her is a little bit circumstantial, but for her to be there actually, was more logical than most of anything. And then of course you got Ramsey Cole on the inside too, right? And he's a great character. So there's a lot of really fun additions to the cast, I thought. And a lot of callbacks that we'll get into the details. That there's one in particular that I really enjoyed, and that might end up being my favorite scene. We'll talk about that soon. But I did it. But beforehand, one side note. And I went into this and did not realize, because they didn't even give me the glasses, that this was going to be in 3D. I got to see it in 3D. I don't know if any of you four did.
No,
nope.
I didn't.
Mine was in 3D. So I sat down, and the guy next to me had glasses, and I said, is this going to be in 3D? He goes, I don't know. I said, they didn't give me any. And then, it came up, so I went out and got my glasses, came back. I missed the Avatar trailer, but I got to see the Thor trailer in 3D. That was cool. But it was me, I love my 3D movies, right? So It's like, wow, this is such a surprise. So I think that might have added to some of my fun of it, but I don't know. The dinosaurs look great. And also one more thing, and sorry, I'm chatting way too long, but I just want to, Dave, I'm surprised you didn't mention it, but there were so many practical dinosaurs on this. There were a lot that you could see that, but it looks so good, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that dinosaur looks fantastic. But let's get into some of the details about this and some things that you want to pick apart or things you want to champion. Who wants to go first? Slattman, do you got something you want to say? Anything you want to pick apart?
that opening act just was rough.
What
You
was
can't get
rough,
past it.
what was rough about it? Was it just a
It was-
dialogue and
The dialogue felt very awkward and forced to me, especially some of the early interactions between the Jurassic World trio, you know,
Yes,
not the
yes.
OG characters. Like, I don't know, like that seemed very, I don't know, I didn't believe it, I guess is a good way to put it. I also thought it was a little too coincidental that Blue would just, you know, be living like right there when, you know.
Well, didn't Blue follow them? I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it didn't work for me, and I also felt, and I might get some flack for this. I felt the first interaction between Sam Neill and Laura Dern was forced.
Mm.
That felt a little too forced, but later on but it corrected itself in like the next scene.
Yeah, I would say by the time they're on the plane and they wake up, kind of, you know, with her head on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's from then on, I was totally on board. But I get it too, because it felt like, oh, you're trying to recreate the scene when Hammond came in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what feels forced about it.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot throughout this movie.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like the trappers or whatever, and just I don't know, the first act just did not work for me, and it's just I thought it was very messy. I'm curious if y'all feel the same way, or if you're going to tell me I'm full of shit.
No, I think you're actually right on with it. I think because it appeared messy because it was kind of messy. I don't think they really like. It's almost like they didn't have a clear idea of how they were going to bring these two worlds together, right? They needed some type of event that was going to bring these OG characters in around these Jurassic World characters somehow, and it just seemed weird. It was kind of, you know, I don't know. It just, but once they all got together, it's like, oh, okay, we're okay now. It's all good now.
Because the plot to get them together stopped mattering, really. I mean, it was kind of this. It was like this one little hinge to just get BD Wong back on the right side. So that was strange. As cool as the Locust looked, it was like, what are we really doing here?
Well, yeah, I was like, what, this become Jurassic Crickets? Is that what, I was like, I came here to see dinosaurs, not to see big ass crickets. I was like, they really sort of changed it up a little bit, you know? But yeah, I mean, I will say that, like, my problem is I've always felt there to be no chemistry between
fries are done.
I know. I was like, the locusts were not happy with my comment.
Now you did it.
Because they're out the door. You better.
Oh, God. Which I don't like bugs, so maybe that's a good thing. But I
do think that. Sorry to interrupt, but I do think that the Locust did supply the film with its scariest scene when it chased the kids into the barn. I thought that.
That was pretty scary.
But it has nothing to do with the rest of the film.
Well, they had to come up with some kind of new threat. I mean, the dinosaurs everybody's used to the dinosaurs. They're playing with dinosaurs in the parks and stuff like that. So they had to kind of come up with some kind of a new threat.
So do y'all remember the prequel like trailer that came out where the T-Rex was terrorizing the drive-in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that wasn't the opening scene of this movie.
Well, that's just a commercial. So.
Well, they also copied that that short thing with the trailer park. They showed a snippet of that in the news footage.
Oh, they did.
Which I thought was a better Jurassic Park movie than the last whole Jurassic Dominion movie. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's weird how they put all this effort in other things, and they feel more closer to the Spielberg, you know, stuff that we saw before, and they don't include that, and it almost feels like, I don't know, I feel like there's like, we need to make this more action oriented, so we're gonna have like, you know, being chased by raptors on a motorbike, and you know, or chased through the market like it's an Indiana Jones thing, things like that, which make it, I don't know, for me it just makes it less of a Jurassic Park movie for me. But
well, I think that's a good point, Christopher. It's like how do you think some of the disappointment that we've been reading online is because they're going in there going, okay, now they're going to be in the world around us, and they really don't capitalize on that terribly much. I mean, it's there, but they almost drove it to a point where it's supposed to be commonplace, and then they're trying to save all the put them in this special park, and I don't know if that. I think that might be part of what you're having trouble with, Chris, is that Slattman with because that isn't what we were here for. It's like, what are we doing? And we're having all these weird little things about the girl and the locust, and I want to see, like you said, you want to see a T-Rex jumping into a drive-in or something, and or, you want to see it going down Manhattan, a street in Manhattan or something, right? We didn't get that.
We don't need another Godzilla 98.
That's right. Well, I didn't mean to say that, but yeah, you're right.
Don't you blaspheme in here, Chris.
But do we want to talk about the cast? Okay, so let's, like you were saying something about Bryce Dallas Howard's character, but I thought, regardless of her character becoming a superhero basically in this movie, I thought she did a great job. I really think that she was much better than Chris Pratt in this one.
Yeah, I kind of bought
that.
I kind of bought the fact that she had become this type of person because she's been with Chris Pratt this whole time, and that's the kind of guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't that big of a stretch for me, that she's been with him. What was it? A 4-year?
It's been 4 years.
Since the last one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a stretch for me to think she would have become this different person by 4 years. But
I don't know. I hate to say this, but I feel like they turned her into like what's her name, Kate Capshaw's character from Temple of Doom. Like, oh, we're gonna put the women in the room with the crickets, and they're like, oh, bugs. and it felt like a 1980s movie where we make the women screaming. I mean,
I don't know.
like
Sam Neill was screaming pretty good when they were after eating
Yeah.
his jacket.
Well, that's true, but I don't know. It felt kind of weird that they would put the two women in that situation. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like she was okay, but I mean, I don't like Chris Pratt either. I don't think either of them are good. I think they have no chemistry whatsoever. The dinosaurs have more chemistry between each other than these two people, and I'm kind of glad that this whole Jurassic World thing has ended, so we don't have to see them again. As much as I like Bryce Dallas Howard in general, I don't know. She's felt like out of place, like a Jurassic fish out of water at points. And then when they go back to the OG people, that was when I felt like there was much more thing. Although it did seem, I don't know about you guys, it did seem like when they're that whole thing when they're trying to get away from the new dinosaur or whatever. It seems like, okay, we need to make sure this person saves this person.
Yeah,
and then we're going to make sure this person saves this person, so they all get their chance of saving each other. So the OG cast can save the new cast, the new cast can save and it just seems so planned out, a little too planned out for me. It felt like more of a script choice than the story choice, and I was like,
yeah, it was a service. Yeah, it wasn't the service of story. It was service.
But I will say there was moments that, like, I think my thing is also I kind of missed the original Jurassic Park where it was all about scary dinosaurs. It wasn't about like, oh, we all love animals type thing. To where I mean, like, but the part where they're in the cave with the lizard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what type of dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs or whatever they are.
Like dinosaurs. Yeah, I mean things like that. That was when it got really cool and scary and fun, when they're doing stuff like that, but then it also gets to that point where it becomes repetitive, where we realize, well, we just keep putting them in these same situations over and over, and at some point they're trying to get away, and then two dinosaurs will fight each other so they can get away. So it ends up being the same type of stuff we've seen over and over. So it gets a little bit the repetitive DNA of the previous
repetitive DNA. I like that we didn't have to rely on the Blue and her clan as much in this one, right? And I will admit that the final fight between the three dinosaurs, I was all about it, man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
If I had popcorn at that point, I would be going, nom, 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 because that was great. I was eating it up. I didn't care. it didn't make any sense, but I loved it that they were fighting. And when T-Rex opened his eyes again after being knocked out, I was like, oh yeah.
I don't know about you guys. That was a funny moment when we first see that one dinosaur that I don't know what kind of dinosaur it is, but evident. I guess
Freddy
it's,
Krueger. Freddy Kruegersaurus.
the
Well, yeah,
Italian
that,
ones,
yeah. But there's that one part where you see the deer, and it's like, get out of my way. I want to eat some greens. So I just it kind of like throws you think it's going to attack the deer. No, you're in my way of eating this delicious salad in front of me.
Got my way. You keep pooping on my food. I think we should just go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go ahead and give our final thoughts, our score 1 to 5, and our favorite scene. I can't wait to hear this all. Let's see, Dave, sir, you are up.
I get to go first again. Again, story-wise, this thing's kind of a mess. I totally agree with Chris. You know, the first reel or the first third, however you want to look at this, is just a total mess. But once they get all the principal people in the principal places doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's actually a pretty fun movie. I enjoyed the action sequences. I thought they were well filmed and well choreographed. They were just fun. I enjoyed them a lot. I enjoyed the practical effects that Doc mentioned as well. I thought that was all good. The giant locusts I thought were really good. I enjoyed them, which actually kind of takes me to my favorite scene, actually, and that's going to be the at the beginning of the movie with the kids in the barn. I thought that was actually pretty freaking terrifying. Didn't have anything to do with dinosaurs per se, but it was really well filmed and well put together, and it led Laura Dern character into the storyline.
They got to capture one, I thought it was pretty scary.
I thought it was great, especially when that one like breaks through, and it was really well done. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Remind me a little bit of the birds.
Yeah. I can see that. But overall, I'm actually going to give this one a pretty good score. I'm going to give it a 3.75. Oh, nice. Definitely see it in the theaters. I think it's one of those ones that you kind of almost have to see in the theater. I did not see it in 3D, but I think it would have been good. In 3D. But go check it out while it's still in theaters. It's a fun watch.
You'll make some money.
Yeah.
All right, Slattman, you're up next. What was your final thoughts? Your score? Your favorite scene?
So this movie definitely doesn't have the magic that Jurassic World had. Jurassic World, when it came to theaters, just kind of had something there that makes it stand out above the rest. Of these three. That being said, this is still a really fun movie. If you can, I think it was it Christopher or Doc that said that you just kind of got to turn your brain off when you start watching it, and it's a good time. Even with the really messy opening act, I still enjoyed it. I really, really did, and I thought that the interactions between the original cast was great to see. I like the new characters. And I actually really like all of the interactions that the little girl, I think Maisie's her name, right?
That's
Yeah. I loved every interaction she had with Laura Dern and Sam Neill.
Yes.
I thought that they had better chemistry, the three of them, than than she does with the Jurassic World actors, and I think that's fascinating. So my favorite are there's a lot of really memorable, great moments after they all arrive at I want to say the island, but it's not the island. It's like a valley or something in the middle of Italy. Yeah. Jurassic Valley is what they should call it. But I'm actually going to go with this when the original cast and Maisie are in the Jeep, and just the quips and everything between those four when they're in the Jeep and it's like, shouldn't we be leaning towards the left? Oh,
Yes.
yes, very,
Yeah.
very good. Let's all do that. You know, I thought that was just that those interactions just brought joy to my face, even though they shouldn't have survived that.
No, they couldn't have. Right.
But like those interactions and like everything leading up to that, like I really enjoyed. And 3.75. Please, please watch it. It's a fun movie, but it's got flaws.
Okay, fun but flawed. Chadasaurus.
I like this movie a lot. I'm giving it a 4.
Nice.
Just for the fact that my son enjoyed it just as much as I did, you know, and that was cool. It's always cool to see him digging on dinosaurs and Godzilla and stuff like that. He loves that stuff. So, but yeah, it does have its flaws. That's why I'm not going any higher than a 4. But I think people should see it. It's a good Jurassic Park movie, and you know, like you said, there's a little Indiana Jones thrown in there, a little Stephen Summers Mummy in there.
Yeah, there might be a
little bit here and there. So it's in that way, it's good and it's fun. It's got evil bad guys and it's got cool villains like the lady in white who would point the little laser tag thing at people and the raptors would chase them. That's just cool stuff to me. I love that kind of stuff. And favorite
Locust on fire.
Yeah. My favorite scene, the dinosaurs are cool and everything, and all the special effects are cool and everything. But when Jeff Goldblum confronts the bad guy and calls him a rat bastard.
Oh yeah.
And
oh my God,
that was just the best. I wanted to stand up and cheer in the theater when he did that, because it was so, you know, he did it the only way Jeff Goldblum could do it. You know, he did it that way, and so that was great. So yeah, that was my favorite scene.
I'll give you that one. That was awesome. Yes. All right, Christopher G. Moore, your final thoughts, your score, your favorite scene.
Yeah, so we have this sort of end of the original Jurassic Park trilogy and this newer trilogy, or this sequelology or legacy-sequel, whatever kind of crappy word you want to create for it. And I think the incorporation of the OG and sort of like creating an extra arc to that, I think worked. I think like Chad was talking about, I think we sit here and we pick apart stuff, but then we realize there's certain elements of it that people enjoy it no matter what, especially kids. I know my theater, there was 2 parents and they brought their young kid, and the kid was wearing a dinosaur onesie.
Oh.
And it was so adorably cute. Although he got out before the end of the movie, I guess he had to pee. But yeah, I think for me, it gets very fun once, you know, Malcolm and Ellie and Alan, I think the others, when the OG cast shows up and the humor they inject into it, and I think you guys pointed out earlier, like that the little girl Maisie has more of a chemistry with the OG cast than they had with her fake parents, and I think that just shows you that I feel like that there's that missing element, that missing piece of DNA that doesn't make it just like the original. And I think the original cast had such a huge chemistry between each other. They all had their own little element, and we get to see parts of that throughout this film. And I think just to see the arc between the 2 OG characters, you know, that sort of love arc that we've always cheered for. I don't know about you guys. I was so happy. Yeah. I felt like happy by the end of it. I didn't care about the whole thing of like dinosaurs are just like the rest of our animals, and raptors are running with horses now. And I'm like, I don't know. I kind of miss the old school Roger Corman days where dinosaurs would just, they forget the fact that these dinosaurs are probably killing people in neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're necessarily the same as regular animals. I don't know, but I think that whole thing is a little ridiculous. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. I think it had some great moments, some great fun moments, some great scary moments. And just anytime Jeff Goldblum would say something, I knew it was gonna he was gonna be cracking on someone or questioning every little thing or saying something. And I did love his sort of callback to the part where the kids are trapped in the car.
Mhm.
And when Alan gets the flare and he
Mhm.
does that, I mean, there's like so many callbacks. There's even a reference to the faster line that someone tells Malcolm. So it's kind of interesting how they flip the roles.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually enjoyed it. I think just other than just being nitpicky for the sake of nitpicky, I just think trying to put the contemporary Mission Impossible James Bond spin on elements really kind of sucked the beauty of what the Jurassic Park films are about. So I don't know. I'll probably. You know what? I'll give it a 4. I mean, I think the OG cast sort of pulled me into where I other than that's the last one, I would watch this again just for those specific moments, those fun moments, like the moment where they're when when they're trying to get the sample. He's like, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
What? I gotta stick my hands in this wherever this thing is. As for favorite scene, I mean, there's probably a lot of funny scenes. I could probably say any moment with Jeff Goldblum's, but I don't know. I love the horror moment of them being in that cave and you realizing, oh, these lizards are coming after them.
They kept screaming out of the tunnels, and everybody.
I know, because I think that the one big jump scare was the one where he's like crawling up the ladder.
Yeah.
Pops out. So I think that I was like, I kind of wish we had more moments like that.
I do too.
Unless like let's travel like James Bond moments. I would love to see more of that. If all of it like most Jurassic Park, if it just took part and if all of it took place in Jurassic Valley.
Yeah.
Which let's hope they don't take that as an idea and make an old new franchise out of it. But anyway, that's my favorite scene.
There you go. Yeah, that OG kiss was what, almost 30 years in the making.
30 years, yeah.
Almost, right? Just about. But that was a great moment, though. I'm just going to pick that as an overall great scene. That's not going to be my favorite scene. It's just the best scene. But so I had an absolute ball with this. I don't know if shutting your brain off is the right way. I guess it is, but it's just this is summer entertainment in a theater. This is what you want to get out of the heat for. This is, the dinosaurs look great. I'd like to see Godzilla use practical effects like this a little bit from time to time, because it feels so great. Like when that one goes up on, I think it was it on the plane or was it in the, I forget where it was, but one of the raptors, was sneaking up on the thing and, hitting, using this little stuff. And then, it's just like, you could really, just felt great. It gives it a more like, obviously there's a lot of CGI there too, but I think of all of them, this is the one that went back to that the most, or at least I felt it. And having the OG cast is great. The chemistry between them is fantastic. Getting all three of them in one place, was great, because they're going there because Ian said, "Come here." It's like, oh, they didn't just happen to meet up. They're like, "Come here. I got something to tell you. Get your ass over here." So that made sense, right? And it just happened to be that, our characters ended up in the same place. But I don't know. Yes, it's contrived, but by the time it happened, I bought it, right? So I guess that, what you're talking about, Slattman, with the first act's a little wonky, but at the same time, I was just like enjoying it. I was love seeing the old cast members again pop up, and I liked the opening scene with them on the horse. It reminded me of Valley of Guanji, Chadasaurus. Remember that? It kind of had that.
Of course.
I was like, oh man, I was like, let's remake that movie now. I kept thinking in my head, so I was really having a great time with it, and seeing the three dinosaurs at the end fight, that could easily be a favorite scene. I thought that was really cool. So there's just so much. And I liked that B.D. Wong's character gets a sort
Redemption,
of a
yeah.
redemption, sort of,
Yeah.
right? You know, he was always, it was always just science to him, right? He wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily a bad guy, but that's always your great bad guy, right? They always think they're right.
Yeah.
In his case, he was just being a scientist, just had the wrong people. Always got hooked up with the wrong people. So I liked his motivation.
Mhm.
You know, when he comes out and he's holding that stuff, and he just, you know, they're like, "It's you," and he's like, "Oh, please, listen to me." And I really, and I don't know. To me, there was a lot of. I think it's uneven. It's a little bit wonky and source, like everybody's saying. But I think that all the good moments, and some of the great moments, I think there are great moments in this, far outweigh those moments.
Mhm.
And I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Wow.
I was going to give it a 4.25, but I talked myself up to 4.5. I feel like I'm going to regret that, but I'm going to champion it during this hour. So
Good for you, Doc.
I had a great. So I mentioned two of my favorite scenes in my spiel, just so I could leave it to this one, which is just because I almost thought Christopher G. Moore was going to steal it there for a hot second, but the whole part that was leading up to like Ian freeze, but they didn't do it. You know, he's like, he has that pole and he's like, he's lighting it so he can, save his friends because he's the only one that hadn't gotten up there yet.
Mhm.
And instead of running, he jabs it in the mouth, and his mouth's like on fire, and it's like, "Rah!"
Yeah.
I was like, yes, I just loved how that changed, right? Instead of him running, he stood
Mhm.
up, right? He stood up for himself and stood up for his friends, right? And just did that. It was great to have this character do that.
Mhm.
He would have gotten eaten in reality, but in the film, it's great. And the effects was great, and it made sense that that would work, that he would destroy. I just loved it. I would say that as much as I love the OG characters, Grant and I'm so sorry, I can't remember the Laura Dern's character's name all of a sudden. Ellie Sattler.
Ellie.
That as much as I like them and their chemistry together, Jeff Goldblum steals the movie. He's the VIP, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Just as the snark alone.
For a moment there, I was like, they better not kill off. Yeah, because
I know.
I was mad that I was worried that they would kill off any of the OG cast because I was like, I'm gonna riot.
I wonder if there was a script where they did and they read it and they went.
So there was an interview that Colin Trevorrow made where they just straight up asked him, do any of the OG characters die? And they specifically pointed at Rexy, the original Tyrannosaurus Rex, and Trevorrow said, "No, Universal would not want the riot. We're not going to kill off any original characters."
There you go.
Okay, that's good.
There you go.
I wish I'd heard that before.
Yeah.
They
knew if they killed off any of the original characters, including the original dinosaurs, that it would not go well.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if Chris Pratt died.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I hate to say it, but
Yeah, I can hear. But I know
I cannot die.
Just don't do that again in another movie, please. That we warn that one out, please. But we didn't mention the feathered dinosaur on the ice.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was
Both of those characters should have died there.
Oh, absolutely, a couple
Yeah.
times. But when it jumped in the ice and was swimming underneath them, and then that was, oh my God! It was visually striking. It was interesting, to have them on the ice, and it was a good scene. It was a good constructed scene to set up, however preposterous or everything else was.
Too bad the trailers ruined it.
Did they?
Yeah.
I missed it.
well, they kind of did the same thing for Bryce Dallas Howard when she's under the water.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that was a good shot too.
It was a good shot, but it was still a stupid. I think most people would have died. I think I've seen her character throughout most of it. As long as they don't look back, they want to tag me.
The only
that
time
was their main thing.
that they've done something like that actually made sense and was smart was in the original Jurassic World when Chris Pratt cut the gas line and covered himself with the gasoline so he didn't smell like a human. That's the
Smell like
only
gas.
time
Oh yeah.
that one of those scenes worked.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, otherwise it would be like the slimy lawyer.
Although I kept thinking, is there not Jurassic snakes in this? I kept thinking.
Oh man, a Jurassic snake would have been.
I mean, Jurassic
Frightening.
crickets. What's next?
I
Jurassic
know.
tarantulas
I
and snakes.
You know what? If they'd had Jurassic bugs, if it'd been like we're just gonna go the bug route, that would at least been a new way that I would have been totally creeped out by it.
Like in Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah, if you had a Jurassic spider,
Yeah.
have like one of those big long spiders.
If
oh
it,
my
yeah,
God,
if it'd been like a huge spider.
And then all of a sudden, the Tyrannosaurus Rex comes and just takes a chomp out and takes a couple legs.
We're rewriting the movie here, fellas.
Call us. We're okay to write a new movie minus Pratt.
all right, minus Prattless. All right, guys, there you go. That's our review for Jurassic World Dominion. Probably surprisingly positive. I wasn't expecting that. I will tell you that from other than me, because I knew I'm an easy target. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Leave some comments down below. You are free to tell us how wrong we are, or tell us how right we are. That's cool. You can do
We
that.
prefer those actually.
Yeah, but, whatever you gotta do, let us know.
Well, the cinema score has been way higher than the review score, so I think that just shows how much
If
some
you
reviews
go
are not.
right, because if you go at this from a critical mind, and I think when we're saying turn your mind off, it's that critical mind you want to turn off, right? Because if you think too hard on this or you take it too critical, it does kind of you can ding it, right? Or throw in expectations like you're wanting to see the dinosaurs in the real world as opposed to in this, the latter part of this, and they're basically in that valley and that's it. But if you're stuck in that, you're not going to like this movie. And you don't have to turn your brain off and accept all the dumb things. You just have to just let it be. Let it be the movie they want to show you. Enjoy it for the action and scenes that, some of the scenes are actually emotional. Pick and choose which ones are going to be emotional for you. For me, Ellie and Grant kissing finally was fantastic.
Christopher cried when Chris Pratt lived at the end.
Yes, he did.
Don't remind me. I'll start crying now.
All right. Well, there you go. Chad, Slattman, thanks for joining us on this special crossover with Heroes and Droids. And I hope we'll see you back again. Dave, Christopher, thanks as always.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having
Dinosaurs, yay!
Dinosaurs.
We could
as they said in the first movie.
You did that well. We could use more dinosaur movies, I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, unless it's Velocipaster, that's all different matter.
I don't know.
Hey.
We got room for that one too. All right. With that, let's say good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, everybody.